You aren't just grieving a person, you're grieving a version of yourself that no longer exists. Most people tell you that divorce is the end of a contract, but your brain feels like it's the end of a world. There is a specific psychological reason why you feel like a stranger in your own skin, and it has nothing to do with how strong or weak you are. You wake up at 3 a.m. The silence in the house is heavy. It's not just the empty side of the bed. It's the silence of the future you had already mapped out. The school runs, the shared vent sessions about work, the person you were when you were we. Now you're standing in the grocery store aisle, looking at a brand of coffee you only bought because they liked it. And you realize you don't even know if you like it. You feel like a ghost haunting your own life. You're managing the custody schedule. You're keeping up appearances at the office. You're scrolling through dating apps just to feel a spark of relevance, only to delete them 5 minutes later because the new you feels like an unfinished sketch. You aren't losing it. You are experiencing a literal fracture of the ego. In psychology, we call this self-expansion theory. When you are in a long-term relationship, your neural pathways begin to overlap with your partner's. Your brain literally starts to categorize their resources, their perspectives, and their identity as yours. Your self expanded to include them. So when the divorce papers are signed, your brain doesn't just see a legal separation, it sees a limb being removed. Your nervous system is currently in a state of disorientation. Think of your identity like a GPS. For years, your coordinates were set relative to another person. I am a wife. I am a provider. I am part of the Johnson family. Suddenly, the signal is cut. You are recalculating, but there are no roads on the map yet. This is why you feel brain fog. It's why making a simple decision like what to have for dinner or how to decorate the living room feels paralyzing. Your prefrontal cortex is exhausted from trying to build a new self while the old one is still screaming for the old routine. You're also dealing with ambiguous loss. The person is still alive, but the role they played is dead. Your brain doesn't know how to process a funeral for someone who is still picking up the kids on Fridays. If you feel like you don't know who you are right now, good, that sounds harsh. But stay with me. The reason you feel empty is because the roles you played were taking up all the space. The stressed spouse, the peacemaker, the negotiator. Those weren't your identity. They were your survival strategies. What you are feeling right now isn't the loss of you. It is the shedding of a costume that was becoming too tight to breathe in. You aren't back at square one. You are at the foundation, and for the first time in years, the ground is clear. This emptiness isn't a void, it's a clearing. You aren't broken, you are unintegrated. So how do you start finding the self again? You don't do it by thinking positive. You do it through micro-autonomy. First, stop trying to figure out who am I. That question is too big, it's overwhelming. Instead, ask, what is my preference right now? Identity is built on 1,000 tiny preferences. Tonight, don't eat what's easy for the kids. Eat the thing you missed eating because your ex didn't like the smell. Listen to the music they called annoying. Notice the silence in the house, and for 30 seconds, try to see it as peace rather than loneliness. Second, practice identity labeling. When the overwhelm hits, stop and say out loud, I am a person who is currently feeling overwhelmed, but I am the person observing the feeling, not the feeling itself. This creates a small gap between your soul and your stress. In that gap, your new identity begins to breathe. You are not the divorcee. You are a person currently navigating a transition. There is a massive difference. The version of you that survived the ending of your marriage is already stronger than the version of you that started it. You just haven't met them properly yet. Take your time. The map is being redrawn. If this made you feel understood, subscribe to Psychologic Lab, because understanding your mind is the first step to mastering it.